Okay, good evening, everybody. Currently, there are nobody on our call right now, but let's see if they are going to come on this call. And if they don't, we'll just talk. I'll just go straight to the meeting. All right, so let's just go into the class. So today we are talking about value. What is value, and how can you become one? How can you become valuable? And what is value in the first place? We are asking this question because there are a lot of people that will say things like, if you don't have anything to offer, don't come near me, right? Like, they make this statement with all form of seriousness, all form of like conviction, and some of the time they just say these things not because, maybe because they themselves they are valuable or not, but there are still other people that say these words or these statements casually. They don't understand the meaning of what they are saying and just open their mouth to say it, right? So today we'll be talking about what value is and how we can become valuable, how we can become one. So value is any ability or skill or attributes that we have that can serve people other than ourselves. Any attributes, ability, skill, knowledge that we have that can serve other people other than ourselves. It serves you, but it benefits other people more. This is what value is, right? And when we know the meaning of value, we can now move on to the next step of determining how to become valuable to people, or how to stay relevant and stay valuable, right? Value can come in different forms. It can come in different shapes and ways, right? Value transcends every human aspect of our life, in relationship, in business, in going to school, in whatever thing we are doing. Value is always present, because without value, humans cannot be humans, right? There's nothing that separates humans from animal if it's not value creation. The ability to help one's neighbor or another person other than themselves, that is what value means. And for us to be valuable, we have already known the meaning of value. We said value is any ability, skill, or attributes that we have that can serve other people other than ourselves. So we can take note of ability, skills, attributes, and we can also add knowledge. There are things that you need to know before you can call yourself valuable. There are some things you need to have. If you don't have these things, you cannot call yourself valuable, right? Or you can be valuable in some aspects and not valuable in another aspect. So which means you can be very good at a thing, right? And in another aspect of your life, you might be struggling or lacking certain abilities. So value varies, right? Value varies. And when we get to understand this thing, we can now know that, okay, for us to be valuable, it means that we need to take intentional steps towards growth. It means that we need to make some decisions that will make us better, because that's the word, better. You are good, but you choose to become better, you wish to become better. So you take steps that can help you get better at that thing that you are doing, or that helps you get better at serving other people. That's the word. So when we know that we need to take intentional steps, we are now one step closer to becoming more valuable, or to become valuable, right? Intentional steps. And today I'll be touching on the 4 levels of value, that when we know these levels of value, we will be able to become better persons. We'll be able to do better ourselves. And these 4 levels of value, I learned it from a very good speaker and teacher, Myron Golden. Myron Golden, I was watching him on YouTube, and he's really he's a very good teacher, right? And he broke that thing down for me, and I was like, wow, this is really wonderful. And by the grace of God, I got to learn it, and I wish to also share this knowledge to other people. So, so the 4 levels of value, like we said, we are talking about the 4 levels of values, right? The 4 levels of value is: number 1, implementation; number 2, we have unification; number 3, we have communication; and number 4, we have imagination. Now, these 4 levels of value, they have their hierarchy. The implementation is the lowest level of value, followed by the unification, followed by the communication, followed by the imagination. So which means communication and imagination, they are the 2 levels of values that is the highest, that can get you the highest return, right? Today we'll talk about the 4 levels of value, but let's start with the implementation. The implementation is you working with your skill, your physical strength. It requires you to use your physical strength to offer value, right? And a lot of people are in this stage of value, they are in this level of value. They use their hands to work, and they trade their time for money, right? They are in this level of value, the implementation stage. And since we said the implementation stage is the lowest level of value that we have, it is the lowest level of value because it makes you the lowest amount of money, or it gives you the lowest return on your investment. And this is what it means basically. It means that when you use your strength to work, you are using something we called a limited asset. You are using your physical strength to work, making sure that if you are not present, you cannot make money. And this can also apply in like job scenario or situations whereby you are working a job. If you don't come to the office, if you're not present, and people that are also doing remote work too, if they are not present to work that job, they are not going to get paid, right? And because they are using their physical strength, which is a limited asset, and they're also trading their time for money, which means that when they are in this implementation stage, they trade their time for money. They must be present. Their physical strength, they will use their physical strength. They will also trade their time for money. And because time is a limited asset, their physical strength is a limited asset. They cannot get an unlimited result. So it's the lowest level of value because if you are not there, you can't get paid, you can't make money, you can't help somebody, right? moving on to the next level of value, which is the unification. Unification is slightly higher than the implementation level of value. And what does unification mean? From the word unification, we can coin out unified, right? To bring together, to to bring together in unity, right? And what this unification level of value means is that people uses other people to get things done. So which means if they are not around or available, the job can still get done and they will still get paid. And because of this scenario, or because of this um, build up, these people are way better than the implementation people, or the people that are in the implementation level, right? They are way better than the people in the implementation level, because these people are the managers, these people are the bankers, like people that are sitting on, excuse me, executive seats, people that are in charge, that are always supervising. We have the supervisors, we have the managers, we have the managing directors. They are the people that uses other people, right? Let me not use the word uses other people. Let's say they leverage on other people's skill, other people's time and talent to get things done, to be productive, right? And that way they earn more money than people that are using their time and energy, their physical strength to make money. They earn way more because they can even go outside and do something else. Meanwhile, they are still getting paid. But these people that are working with their skills, with their strength, and trading their time for money, spending 9 to 5 hours in an office, without them being there, they know they cannot make money. So they have to show up, they have to put in the effort. Definitely, the payoff will be different, right? The payoff will be different. Now, there's even something much more better than the unification level, which is the communication level. The communication level of value is the third level of value, and it's where wealth and riches start from. So, if you want to be able to build wealth, if you say you have a dream to building or having a multi-million dollar industry, to becoming rich, famous, and financially free, you need to operate in this level of value, which is the communication level of value. And this is why communication is way better than unification and implementation. Communication is better because, first of all, we are humans, and humans requires interaction. Humans requires connection, and the only way we can connect to other humans is through communication, right? Communication is one thing that human beings cannot do without. You cannot live in isolation. There is no human being on the planet of the earth right now that is living in isolation. One way or the other, he will always be drawn to other human beings. That's why we have the social media. That is why we have, yeah, computer, the internet, to bring us together. That's why we developed those things in the first place, right? So communication is very important, and when we operate in this level of value, we earn way more than people in the unification and people in the implementation. Now we are not trading our time for money. We are making wealth, or we are going to create wealth from an unlimited asset class, which is the communication, right? What is the unlimited class asset class? Language, words, ideas, right? Now, for communication to happen, what is the tool for communication? The tool for communication is our mouth. You cannot communicate without using your mouth, right? And your mouth is the most powerful tool right now, or let's just say yes, the most powerful, or let's say second to the most powerful tool right now on the planet. Why? Because if we even take it back to the beginning of the world, when God was creating the earth, the Bible tells us that God spoke the world into existence. So through the word of his mouth, the world was formed. So that's to tell you that words are powerful, communication is powerful, language is powerful. And because human beings are spiritual beings, we require language to communicate. That is why we must take this value, we must operate in this level of communication very well. We should do better in it. We should be a better communicator. We should be able to communicate our message, our intent very clearly, because if you are not able to do that, we will not be able to make money. Trust me, we will not be able to make money, right? So communication is a way better level of value than the rest of the bottom line, right, which is the implementation and the unification. And to bring this home to our country Nigeria, let's take for instance Gege. What is Gege doing? Yes, he might have his businesses, right, that he's doing along the side and whatnot, but if you check him on social media, you see that all he does is come to social media and talk. And when he talks, he gets followers. When he talks, people are always in his people are always in his comment section to like comment. People are always drawn to him because why? His communication is communicating. He's using language to to communicate, right? So if you also take for instance Pella and Very Dark Man, they are also doing the same thing. They are making the most of the money. They are getting most of the connection, right? Because they are communicating. They are using their mouth, the word of mouth, which is powerful to communicate, right? So that is to tell you that communication is very very important and is better than the other two levels of value. Now the one that is higher than all of them, which is the in the Nigerian language, the oga kpatakpata of them all, is the imagination. Now imagination is the highest level of value, where we use our mind to create things. Imagination is the highest level of value, where we use our mind to create things. And with this level of value, we make the most money, right? We make the most money. We get the most return on investment because it has to do with our mind. It has to do with pictures. What do we see in our mind, right? And you cannot have something in your mind, like before you even say something, definitely there should be something in your mind to tell you that this is why the imagination is one of the highest and the most important. And this imagination is what people in the world, the top flyer people in the world, uses to like beat the system, uses to become popular, uses to become famous, and uses to make impact in the world today. This level of value, imagination, is very powerful. People like Mark Zuckerberg, he used his level of imagination to build Facebook. People like Steve Jobs used his level of imagination to create the Apple brand, right? People like um, Elon Musk uses his imagination to to pursue or to fund the Tesla project, to fund the SpaceX project. And because they see what other people are not seeing, they imagine it in their mind, they are now powerful enough to bring that into life. And the people that imagine what is missing in the world are the ones that controls the world. And these people are very few. When God wants to create man, he imagined something. Even before he spoke the word, he said, let us make man in our own image. So there is an image already. There is an image of God already, right? Before God now say, let us make man, trying to communicate. Okay, so look at it now. There is already an image of God. So God already has an image, right? Now, man was not in existence. Now, God now communicated to man, to the Trinity, let us make man. That's the communication in our own image, right? Now, God now um, went ahead to speak the word, and he went ahead to create the word, which is the implementation, and also create man, which is the implementation, right? So we can see that imagination is always at the top, because it's what is in the mind is what the mouth will speak, and is what the hands will do. It's what people will use to like delegate. It's what's already in the mind. So the mind is controlling every single level of value, right? And this is one thing that we need to know. We need to understand that if we must operate in the highest level of value, we should be able to think of something, find a problem, and find the solution to that problem. We should be able to imagine a better world. We should be able to imagine things, right? Now, we can get value. Let's bring it back to the practical way we can get value. We can get value by simply deciding to be better every single day, right? And for us to decide to be better, it means that we need to take conscious steps. We need to like be aware of what we are doing. The steps we can take is by researching. Researching is just a word that covers every other thing, right? Researching covers reading, it covers watching videos, it covers like watching movies, which is still videos. It covers finding a problem and solving it. When we are able to find a problem and solve it, we become valuable, right? We become way valuable than what we are, or where we are coming from, because now there's a problem and we are able to solve that problem. Even if you are not able to solve that problem yet, for the fact that we think about solving the problem, for the fact that we think about finding a problem to solve, it makes us way better than where we are coming from. So by researching can mean you reading books. Books helps a lot in preparing the mind. Books helps a lot in making you imagine things. Books help a lot in making you communicate better, because you are dealing with words, and human beings are like, they relate to words, right? So reading helps. Reading a book, reading a novel, reading whatever material that can make you better. And those you cannot read if you are not intentional. So how can we become valuable is by being intentional, right? Intentionality has to be in it. How can we be valuable? From the definition, in the initial definition, we said something that we have that can serve people other than ourselves. So we need to know that for us to even stay valuable, it must not necessarily be ourselves that we are trying to serve. If we can serve other people, we become way valuable. If you decide to serve only yourself, as per self development now, you understand, you are trying to like develop yourself, read books, open your ideas, network the right way. You are edifying yourself, you are getting yourself better, right? However, that betterment is not just meant for only you. It's not meant for only you. When you understand that this value that you are creating, this value that you are becoming is not meant for only you, your life become way easier. The money that you are so eager to make, you will make it 10 times. You will make it in 100 folds, because now you know that this value you are creating, it's not just meant for you. It's meant for other people. It's meant to serve other people, right? We are having this class, even if nobody's on this class right now, but we are having this class because I'm creating value. I want to be able to serve people. And you also, you are on this class because you want to get better. And if you want to get better, why do you want to get better? Because you want to be able to serve other people. That is the whole essence of value. That's the whole essence of life. Serving other people. And Jesus has even taught us how to do that, because he lived an exemplary life. Like, he first of all served us. He was God there on earth. He came to serve man. He came to take away the sin of man. He offered value first, right? So every single thing we need to do in life, if we need to make money, if we need to make impact in this life, we should know that the value we are creating is not for ourselves but for other people. The wealth we are eager to create is not for yourself, it's for other people, right? People will say you cannot draw from an empty well. True. So which means you need to first of all build yourself to be able to serve other people, right? But when you now go the extreme, when you now make it into a selfish ambition, that is where the beginning of your downfall starts. If you want to gather money just for gathering sake to make your life better, just that, and you don't have any intentions of making any other person's life better, you are selfish. And the only way, and you are just moving towards destruction, right? Because you cannot just serve only yourself. Sorry, you cannot just serve only yourself. That is not the way the world is designed. The world is designed for you to serve other people in one way or the other. So when you go about your life on a daily, make sure you ask yourself, how can I help somebody? How can I make somebody's life easier, right? It could be putting a smile on somebody's face, as simple as that. It could be just checking up on somebody, as easy as that, right? You can make somebody's life very easy, and you can create value in the world today, right? So read books, improve yourself, network, help other people, believe God, right? Believe God, because you cannot take away the fact that God is our creator and he has taught us how to, or he has set the example of how to become valuable and how to live a better life. So as you are also reading, as you are also researching, also go back to the word of God to read, to study God's ways, right? And learn from it. That way you will be 100 times better. You will be 100 times better at creating value. Your life will be at ease. You will move with purpose. People are looking for purpose there and there. The easiest way you can find purpose is by serving other people. I'll repeat that again. The easiest way you can find purpose is by serving other people other than yourself. That way you will become better. That way you can live a fulfilling life. And when you leave this earth today, you know that you have done something tangible. Like for me, I always say things like the world will hear my name. Not just because I'm going to be famous or popular, but because of the impact that will make in people's life, right? So have the mindset of serving other people, and that way you can become valuable. I'll see you in the next class. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining. And if you have any question, please do well to drop it on the comment section. Do well to reach out to us privately, and we will answer you. We will clarify whatever misconception that you're having. And till we meet again next time, stay blessed, and I'll see you again. Bye for now.